Hey everyone, Caleb with Antique Book Collective, and today I'm getting to you guys with a video that I think people really need to pay attention to if they ever want to sell anything online, and that is give a rip! So guys, there are so many sellers that you will reach out to on eBay, off eBay, all that sort of stuff that will not respond to any messages ever, or if they do, it is 6 months later. I actually just had that with a particular purchase for some plant stuff. The guy would not get back to me for the longest time, and it's like, okay, yes, I understand that you don't live on the internet to do all these things, but boy, sometimes it can be frustrating to deal with that. Other times, there's people that just have a couple simple questions they want to ask and a couple simple things they want answered. One such thing that I always have people ask is, can you measure this book for me? To date, I have yet to have one person actually buy the book after asking for the dimensions of the book. So honestly, I would like to ignore those, but I'm still answering them because I'm telling myself one of these times that person's going to buy that book, and they never ask about the really valuable books. Like 10% of the times they ask about valuable books. Most of the time it's garbage books that I just list for the sake of trying to get a couple more sales in my store. But seriously, these people ask, I have to whip that book out, measure that stupid book, and then they don't respond because, I don't know, people that ask for measurements don't respond. They don't buy books. I don't know. I think they just want to know how big every book is in the world. I don't know. But it's sort of funny because it happens so often. But I'm telling myself, again, they're going to buy one of these times. But with that said, this video is about something a little bit more than that. So I actually did a a YouTube post about this. You guys probably will remember this one. It's the one where I said, just popping in to say that here's some recent feedbacks from my store, and I just did a little screenshot of some of the recent feedbacks that I had. A couple of those were actually recent purchases because, believe it or not, I buy stuff on eBay. And guys, that could be a nice way to get some more feedback on your eBay store too if you're brand new and starting out. Getting just some good feedback is pretty nice. Of course, you don't want to game the system. That's not really moral, and I'm sure it's against eBay's rules. But let's face it, if buyers see that you actually use eBay yourself, that might make them feel a little bit more confident in buying from you. With that said, though, this video is about these books right behind me. So these books behind me are from the Harvard 5-foot bookshelf. They are from 1909 to 1910. It's a nice set of books, lots and lots of different things that it goes over. It's basically just an amalgamation of definitely Western books. I don't know if I saw any books from Eastern culture, but everything from Greece and West I did see stuff from. In fact, there might be some Tolstoy, or how do you pronounce that guy's name? I'm sorry, Russian speakers, but whatever you pronounce that guy's name as he's Russian, so maybe we can go as far as the Far East because of Russia going all the way to the Far East. But anywho's, this particular set of books I had listed for a hot minute. I want to say I was asking $85 for the entire set. I had 26 books at the time, and I had one guy reach out, and this is what this entire video is basically going to be about, is the guy that reached out. He left feedback. That's what I shared in that one screenshot, but he reached out and was like, hey, I need these 3 books from this set. You have one of them. Can I buy just that one? What's your price? All that sort of stuff. And guys, when I list sets of books that are incomplete sets of books, I will type out in the description, if you want to buy just one of these books, just ask. I will break up the set for you because the set already is not really a set anymore. It's 15 random books out of a set of 30. I want to say the Harvard set might be as many as like 50 books or something like that. I had like 26, so I was a far cry short of a complete set. So I was like, absolutely. And guys, it was so funny when I was typing my response with what I was going to charge him. I typed $8 for one book, and I was like, no, I want to do 9. Honestly, I'd rather do 12. I can't remember if I ended up asking for $9 for it or if it was $9.99, something like that. But he was like, absolutely, and that was plus shipping. I do not pay for shipping when I'm selling any of my books, much less really cheap ones like that. So he was like, absolutely, that's a good deal. Thank you so much. So I made an individual listing for him. Guys, whenever you do this, try to make an individual listing for the single book. You don't want the person to buy like the entire listing for the whole set for $9, take down the whole listing, and then post it back up with all the things. And like, you don't want to do that. You want to have it so there's a good paper trail, honestly, of being like, this is book 9 only out of this whole set for $9 plus X much shipping because the book is £2, that sort of stuff. You guys don't want to have it be like fiddling around with the entire listing for the large set, unless of course there's a big exception for that. If you're doing one of those listings where it is one that you can actually like type in and build your own lot, which if I recall correctly, that is not possible to do with antique books. That is something to keep in mind. That is something I actually tried to do previously, but you can only do that on newer books. So keep that in mind, or at least listings for books that are not the antique and antiquarian, or was it collectible and antiquarian, whatever that is for on eBay. With that said, though, this guy, he bought this book, not this particular one, his already got shipped off to him and arrived, but he got his book, and when I am selling my books, guys, I've shared this so many times before, I am wrapping these individually, not always individually. If it's a dirt cheap book and it's part of a lot of books, I'll normally wrap like 5 of them together. But when it's a more expensive book or an antique book in particular, I'm going to wrap them individually. I do it in nice craft paper. I said butcher paper before. I'm sure people get offended, but I do it in nice craft paper, and I will tape it on shut, not on the book itself. I'll tape it paper to paper, and then I will put a sticker that says happy reading on the top right here. I just find that to be a nice, like, I've shared before and called it panache. It's a very panache thing you can do. It's bougie, if you will. But it looks nice, and I have had so many feedbacks on these books and all the different things that I've sold of people being like, this book was packed really well because I put them in boxes. It was like packed in there because I do all the packing paper around it, and it was wrapped, and it had a little note on it. Best thing ever. I'm going to buy from this buy from the seller again. Like, so many people are over the moon about that because, again, I've shared this many times before, people don't give a rip about selling their books. Like, they will throw them in a padded mailer, send it off, and call that good. And beyond that, a lot of people, they're not going to respond to that individual person asking, hey, can I buy just one individual book out of this set? So when you are the person that responds, that person is going to be like, yes, he responded. I'm not being ignored. I actually am a human. I'm not a NPC in this weird video game called life. I don't know. I'm not saying we live in a simulation, guys. I'm not one of those people. I'm also not a flat earther, in case anyone wondered. But with that said, when you actually respond, when you do give a rip, when you actually go the extra mile and wrap a book. How hard is it to wrap a book? It takes me, like, let's say a minute to wrap a book. Of course, sometimes it takes longer for when the book's like a weird size, but by and large I can do it pretty stinking quick. So keep all that in mind when you guys are doing this. With all that said, though, guys, I do want to say one additional thing about all these books behind me. This here set, this is the Charles Dickens set. I've sold individual books out of this many a time. This one here, I finally sold the first book out of this set. Not too exciting, but even sets like this one where it's only a few books in a set, I have sold one book out of a set of 3 a couple of times because people want to finish their lots of books off. And I'm sorry to that one guy that did buy that one book from me in this set right here that I didn't have the other 2 that you needed. I always find it a little sad when someone needs 3 and I only have 1 or 2 of them. It's like, no, I was so close. I'm sorry. You do have to wait another 15 years to find someone that's actually going to be able to help with the rest of it. That's actually one of the reasons why I bought more of these books for the Charles Dickens set, why I bought an additional entire set of it, or partial set. It's just really nice to be able to complete people's sets. I don't know why I find it so enjoyable to do it, but I do. Maybe it's an addiction. I don't know. But it is something that is really, really helpful for buyers. In fact, I've had a good number of buyers leave raving feedback for a lot of things that I've done. And with all that said about feedback, I actually just hit, let's see, I just hit the 800 mark for total sold listings on my eBay store, which I know you guys are going to be like, oh, that's nothing. You've only sold 800 listings. Well, guys, I never claimed to be the multi-quadrillionaire of book selling. I've sold enough books to know a couple things about this, but again, guys, I've shared before, I'm not selling just any book that I come across. I am selling more valuable books whenever and wherever possible. Of course, of late, I have had a lot more cheap books getting listed on my store. That's just because I've been trying to get my store filled with more listings, and it's hard to get the nice collectible books. But by and large, when I was running this business how I really liked to run it and how I ran it for the first quite a few sales that I did, my average sales price was $70 per listing. So $70 per sold listing, 800 listings. I mean, that would be great money if I actually did that. Of course, again, guys, I've had quite a few cheap books sell of late, and that has contributed contributed a lot to bringing my average sales price down, especially with, I've shared before, all the bookmarks that I sell now. I'm not selling bookmarks for $70. That'd be pretty rootin' tootin' cool, but I'm not making that kind of money. But with that said, the reason why I'm sharing that about the 800 sold listings, which I just had another 10 recently, so sales go up and down for me, I guess. But with that said, because it hit 800, I was like, oh, that's a round number. Let's check really quick how many feedbacks I've had. What's my feedback percentage rate? And I want to say my feedback percent rate was like 43 or 45% or something like that, which is a pretty high feedback rate. I am very thrilled with that. Of course, yeah, I would love if I had more feedback from more buyers, because I sell a lot of things. I put a lot of effort into what I sell. I provide people pretty good value. So yeah, I would like some more feedback. There are some things I can do, some steps I can take to get some more feedback. But as things stand right now, I'm pretty content with how my business is going. Of course, I'd like more business to do. Excuse me. I'd like more business in my store as well. But these are all things that you can get to further on as you work on stuff. So with all that said and done though, guys, thank you for watching this video. If it was helpful, please be sure to hit the like. If you guys want to watch another video, I've got 2 of them right there. Be sure to subscribe if you guys haven't yet, and if you like this sort of content, and I will see you guys in the next one.